It's time for Random Rambling Wednesday.
Yes.
I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. Yes, from the name, we do talk about The Walking Dead, but we podcast about many other things, such as today's podcast. If you are into podcasts, consider subscribing. Definitely hit that like button. It helps us out. And stay tuned after the podcast. We'll give social media info, and we'll talk about that Patreon. But right now, it's time to talk about nothing and everything. JP, this is how I started out each week, man. Why does it look like you're giving oral pleasure to my microphone over
I'm
there?
not filleting no microphone. I ain't never done it. I ain't going to start doing it now. That ain't how I want to break into the radio biz.
So what's new in the life of JP?
Oh, man, ain't nothing new in my life, brother. Ain't nothing new under the... Well, nah, there is stuff going... I don't know, man. I don't know. We doing all right. We're doing our best. We're keeping our chin up, our dicks up, everything up.
Oh, and warning, this is the one unfiltered podcast we have. Again, this podcast is one in which we just talk about whatever. This is just the one time a week where we cut on the mic and we don't have any direction. But I promise you, other podcasts have a little bit more structure. We like to keep it raw, but we do, we have like Trending Tuesday where we talk about things trending. Obviously, The Walking Dead. We do Mail Call on Thursdays. But this is just the one in which the conversation. So if you just want sporadic, random conversation, this will be the podcast. If you don't like that and you like structure, don't give up on us yet. Just exit out of this one and go check out one of our others. But also, it's the one time where I tell JP he can say whatever he wants.
Brother,
and there's no telling what's going to come out of his mouth. So you've been warned.
You should have jumped on my scope train last night, man. We was grilling out there scoping. This chick from Russia got on there talking to me, man. It's hot out there in Russia.
Is it?
Yeah, she said it's hot, but she didn't know that much good English, so conversation wasn't that riveting. But she said she was lonely. You could have kept her company.
Well, I think my girlfriend would have liked that very much, but
Well, she's prejudiced.
I don't think your girlfriend would have liked that very much either.
Oh, she's prejudiced against Russians too.
Oh, my girlfriend's not prejudiced against anybody. I don't think she knows anybody from Russia. So I mean, if she's racist against, well, now I guess that wouldn't be prejudiced against Russians is yet to be seen because I haven't seen her around a Russian person. I'll go home and ask her though, baby, how do you feel about the Russians?
It's wild, man. Stalin on the cover of Time magazine so many years ago. Can you believe it? And then they just, which, I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't a monster, but who knows, man?
Where are you going with that?
We better talk about this while we can. That's all I'm saying.
And why is that?
Well, because before you know it, freaking Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerface, they say no more Random Rambling Wednesdays. Y'all talk about stuff that makes people think and makes people uncomfortable, and it doesn't belong on the internet. This isn't an open forum anymore. They're taking steps every day, removing alternative takes on history and things of that nature.
It definitely seems like they are slowly trying to get as much control over what's on the internet as they can.
No, they're doing it all the time.
Your precious Periscope will be next.
Oh, I know. That's like my last bastion. I was telling our buddy Matt Crowder last night, I was like, I love Periscope because nobody, I deal with data. It's non-localized. I can be myself.
Except for me.
Well, yeah, you're on there, but I mean,
I try not to watch everyone, though, because I don't want you to feel like...
No,
I'm
brother, I ain't doing nothing that you don't already know I'm doing, so I don't give a damn. But nah, man, it's much like this podcast. I can feel free to do me and to be me, and that's what's so beautiful about it, and that's why a lot of people like it. It's not linked to.
It won't be too long before they start, wrenching down on things that they don't like.
Well, there have been
enjoy it while you've got
committed on a Periscope, but I mean,
such as what?
Like rape and murder and all kinds of stuff.
Are you serious?
Suicide.
People have done that on Periscope?
People have Periscoped some muffed up stuff, man. But
all of a sudden, you're getting drunk and cooking with them doesn't seem so bad, does it?
Yeah, no, it really don't. It really don't. But there's always a few bad apples in the batch, and I mean, they probably would have murdered those folks anyway, whether it was on Periscope or not. So I don't think it's, promoting it.
What if just the rush they got from knowing they had an audience is what pushed them over the edge to do it?
They might be taking it to that next level,
Yeah, I'm not much for censorship.
Well,
I think that society can handle that for you. If somebody's saying some outrageous stuff that you don't like, guess what? Odds are it's not popular, and society will, shun them. You don't need, to go on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like you, much like yourself. I just think people should be allowed to say what they want to say. If it's muffed up, guess what? Most people will avoid them like the plague, and they'll be their own downfall most of the time. But, you know.
I mean, it's not like George Orwell's 1984 where the TV is just on your wall and, you know, what's on there is beyond your control. You got to watch it. You can't. The TV be watching you while you watching TV. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that is kind of the direction we're going.
Computers are that way with the webcams.
With the webcam,
They say they can listen in on your phone, too.
It's wild, man. I saw a video. I can't remember which channel, but it's one of my well-sourced channels. Mark Zuckerface is making a statement, you know, like, oh, no, you know, we're not, or the government, or nobody is able to watch you through your webcam built into your computer.
It's super easy to do.
But no, this is it, man. This is it. Behind him, he's got a computer, and the webcam's covered up. Like, I mean, it's just so farcical and so insane at this point. It's like, I mean, they're lying to you right to your face, and 99% of people just swallow it on down, just gargle that mayonnaise and swallow it on down.
Why did you choose mayonnaise for that example?
It's a fellatio metaphor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, you ain't never got into Tenacious D, did you?
Yeah, back in the day. I mean, I wasn't like a super fan, but yeah, I like Tenacious D.
He's gonna make you his sex slave. You gotta gargle mayonnaise. It was the Tenacious D movie where they show down with the devil.
Oh, The Pick of Destiny.
Right.
God, it's been so long since I've seen that, though. But yeah, I saw that come out a long time ago.
Yeah, they're making another Tenacious D, man, and I hope they like. The thing I didn't like, I mean, I'd love the Tenacious D movie, but like a lot of stuff like that, it was just very like, let's take everything that was great about what we did before and try to like update it and make it better and just a culmination, whereas I think it shouldn't have been like an origin thing. It should have just been like a new Tenacious D adventure. Maybe they're in outer space. Who knows? But maybe hopefully in the next one they'll go into outer space. I'd love to see that, and hopefully it's not a big old pile of shit.
Tenacious D in outer space. So if you know Tenacious D, pass that along. What have you been listening to / watching? Oh, did you know Jessica Jones Season 3 is on Netflix now?
Yes, and I hear there's a pretty big cameo at the end. I've avoided spoilers. I actually need to go back and finish watching the previous season.
You need to watch freaking Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to start Jessica Jones Season 3 tonight.
Yeah, I'm holding on tight for The Boys. That's one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. I never read the comic, but as highly as you spoke of it, I'm excited. So you said you wanted to podcast about that, right?
I'd like to do like maybe one big encompassing review of it. Maybe we can lump it in with something else.
Is that going to be on Netflix?
I think it's Amazon.
When does that come out?
I'm not sure, but I mean, The Boys is a Garth Ennis joint, so I'm sure you'd dig it. I don't know what his involvement is, and I mean, which I guess with that being said, Preacher was a Garth Ennis book, and I mean the TV show wasn't bad, but it definitely didn't suck me in like I was hoping.
No, the show wasn't terrible, but it definitely just wasn't. I don't know. Like I'm fine with not by the book adaptations, but that was just a little. And this is the final season. Their Preacher's going to end. I guess this will be the fourth season.
I guess, man, I fell off.
Is it fourth or third? I'm not caught up with it either. I've watched the first two, I think. So I'd have to go back and see where I know I made it all the way through the first season. I thought I made it through the second season. So maybe this is the fourth and final season coming up. But yeah, I'm excited for Jessica Jones. You said a big cameo?
Yeah, they say it kind of alludes to maybe she could resurface in some form or fashion somewhere. I don't know. Maybe there's some hope for the Netflix Marvel universe yet. But I like
Jessica Jones, man. I know it's called some heat, but Jessica Jones and Daredevil Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Punisher were my favorite too. I wasn't really big on Iron Fist, and Luke Cage was pretty good. Luke Cage was your favorite, right?
It was definitely up there, man. I loved the first season of Iron Fist. I didn't know.
What did I say? Did I say Iron Man?
No.
Did I say Iron Fist?
I thought you said Iron Fist.
I meant Iron Fist if I didn't know. I didn't like Iron Fist.
No, I loved the first season. I didn't watch the second one, but I loved Luke Cage as well.
I didn't hate Iron Fist the way the critics seem to, but I definitely could see it just didn't grab me the way that.
No, it grabbed me with both hands, man, and just shook me until I exploded.
There's just anything that comes out of your mouth sounds sexual.
I'm just saying, man, I really liked Iron Fist. I mean, that's me. It was provocative.
The Defenders wasn't really all that great. I was kind of shocked when they put them all together. I thought, oh, this will be awesome. The Avengers, once you put all them together, it was up to that point one of the best movies. But the Defenders, and I didn't hate it, but it just definitely wasn't that good.
I mean, I kind of think we all knew where this was going. Okay, it's just they're fighting. They should have put some more stuff in there.
I would have loved if they were fighting the Punisher. You know what I mean? Like that would have been a cool first season. The Punisher shows up and they all team up to kind of stop him. You know, that would have been cool. Because the Punisher, if you read the comics, especially the more recent, which was probably created just to promote the show, but the Bendis run on the Defenders that he did was like a 13, 16 issue run. It wasn't really a long run. That was pretty damn good. Like they went against what was it, Cottonmouth?
Yeah.
They went against him. They had some deals with the Punisher. Like that was a good little fun run. Like I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, the Defender series that came after that, it was like classic Defenders, like a Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange, the Hulk. That was really good. It was just like 4 or 5 one-shots. Chip Zdarsky was writing on it.
I probably should have gotten those, man. Chip Zdarsky just like... I've only read like 2 things of his. I've read the Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, and now Life of, but both have been like some of my favorite Spider-Man in recent years. You know?
Oh yeah, if I see his name on something, I always give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna start picking up kind of like one of those Jeff Lemire's, or I see his name on it, I'm like, I'll try it.
Yeah,
because he really is, man. I just feel like he gets his characters, especially, which I say that, but I mean mostly in the Spider-Man universe, but. You know, he just, I don't know. I feel like compared to Dan Slott, I just was not a big fan of Dan Slott's run. I'm not going to say that it didn't have moments where it was good, but
he just stuck around too long, man.
I feel like Chip Zdarsky gets what makes Peter Parker Peter. You know, I mean, he gets it. He gets the Spider-Man universe, and he knows how to keep it fresh and entertaining. He knows how to. I mean, that's what I like so much. Amazing Spider-Man's just, I don't know. It didn't have that pop with Dan Slott, but like Chip Zdarsky knows how to combine the humor. He can tug on your heartstrings. Like he just, you know.
Yeah, man. Tom Taylor's another one. He's doing Spectacular Spider-Man. He's writing Deceased for DC. He's killing it right now too.
Spectacular Spider-Man. So they're still doing that?
Or no, not Spectacular. Friendly Neighborhood. Right?
Yeah, okay, and that's a good a good run. Okay, I was going to say I didn't know that they had continued. I had dropped Spectacular Spider. Well, I didn't drop it. It ended to my knowledge. So I
get confused. I do.
Well, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 Spider-Man titles going out right now. If you include like the video game one, and then you've got Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, you've got Amazing Spider-Man, you've got The Life of.
Yeah.
Which, if you are a comic reader, or even just every once in a while, go to your local comic shop, go online, whatever, man. Pick up The Life of with Spider-Man. That is an awesome series.
Yeah, we like it.
You read that last one, right? The 90s.
Yeah, I'm caught up on that. I'm not caught up on a Friendly Neighborhood just because I'm missing a couple.
I'm 1 issue behind on that. And then you got Symbiote Spider-Man's also going on right now too.
Peter David. Yeah.
But Life of, what's so cool about that, even if you don't read comics and you know or like Spider-Man, you still might find this interesting. What's cool is we all know in comics they kind of adjust timelines to keep them current, you know, or else Spider-Man would be like, what, in his 50s or 60s now?
No, he'd be like in his 70s.
70s, yeah. Well, so
I don't...
Yeah, you're probably right. Because I mean, like he was supposedly 15 when he became Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, and
that was in like the 60s.
Yeah.
So 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010. So that's plus 50 years. So he would be like 65.
Yeah, somewhere
in that range.
Which they actually say in the solicit for that comic exactly what his age is in the last installment of Life of. So.
But what's cool, he's like in his 40s, I think, in that one, right? Like in the 90s. He's like somewhere in his 40s. Yeah. But what's cool about that is, you know, in the comics right now, Peter Parker's what, maybe 30, late 20s, early 30s? Would you say, like in Amazing and all of the current stuff?
Yeah.
They've kept him young, but they're also alluding to him being a little bit older with like Miles Morales and, you know, these younger people coming in. He's kind of, you know, they've cracked a few old jokes on him over time. And so I imagine that puts him in his late 20s to early 30s. But, you know, in real life, so what the Life of does is it goes back in time to the 60s. And like he actually, it's 60s up to current day, and each one is a decade. So the first one was the 60s, then it was the 70s, then the 80s, and now the 90s, and then it's going to be 2000s. But he actually is aging, like it's keeping him age appropriate. So like whereas in the 90s, you know, in regular runs he was probably like in his 20s maybe. Now in this one he's like in his mid to late 40s. So you're seeing him age. No, it's really cool idea.
It's wild, man.
Great writing, great art, just all of it, man. It's probably one of my favorite miniseries I've read in a while, especially from Marvel.
Just talking about that, man, I'm just flashing back to being a little kid, like sitting in the floor watching the Spider-Man cartoon, the X-Men cartoon on like
Loved
Saturday
them.
mornings. Yep. Oh, brother. Oh, man. I gotta get a hold of myself.
But yeah, it's so I mean, even if you don't read comics, just give it it's only 2 more issues, right? So just give it we got the 2000s and probably 2010s.
Yeah, they're going.
So give it like 2 issues, and I actually might buy the trade of that. You know what I mean? Like go out and buy like a hardcover, nice version of a trade, like a full, just because it's so good. I know I want to read it again, but obviously I don't want to pull those comics back out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, wait till the trade comes out, man. You don't even have to be that big into Spider-Man. I promise you, it's awesome.
Oh, it's great.
But speaking of which, it is New Comic Book Day.
I know. I ended up having to. Our parking lot is so crazy right now with the pager place, man. Like I'm trying to pull out, but then I got a detour and wrap back around, and I ended up just I'm right here in front of the comic shop. So I walked in and looked at the stack. We got some good stuff. Gideon Falls, and it actually is Gideon Falls this time. Superman Year One, written by Frank Miller, is coming out.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember what else, but those were the 2 that
we got a crazy good stack. 2 of them.
Yeah, you know my mind, man. I was, we was burning the candle at both ends last night. Not like talking about, but just hanging out and all this kind of stuff. If
you don't follow JP on Periscope, we'll give you his Periscope after the podcast. You should, because I was talking to our pal about how random it was. Like, JP's sitting in Ballad, just watching the entertainment, having a beer, and I watched 1 or 2 of them, and then I was doing stuff. Then I get a notification that he's live, and the title is "That's a Big Fucking Turtle." And somehow this guy has left the brewery and is down in the river chasing a turtle.
I'm all over the place, brother. I'm doing it, and I'm doing it as only JP knows how to do it.
The question I have, though, is did you catch him?
Nah, man. I saw him above the water, and once he got it, he was gone.
Was it a snapping turtle or just a big, like...
I can't classify him, man, but I saw that shell up above the water. It was as big as like a Tombstone pizza. It's huge, man. I ain't going after no turtles. Don't get me wrong.
So you better watch out with them snapping turtles, man. I mean, they're rough.
Oh, dude,
and when they bite, they don't want to let go either.
Yeah, my dad I think it was a thumb he almost lost. One bit it, and man, it was black for like a month.
That's why kudos. Like, I love fishing. I love being in the river. I love, all of that type of thing. But the one thing I don't have any desire to do, man, my girlfriend's brother-in-law is like the ultimate outdoorsman. Like, he does I consider myself outdoorsy. This guy is the outdoors. He takes his vacation time to just go down to the river and fish. You know what I mean? Like, he's
right.
And he does the thing where they catch the catfish with their hands. I don't want to stick my hands in water I can't see and go digging around under a tree or under a rock.
Noodling or something?
Yeah, I've heard it called that, but also there's a thing called noodling where people chop up pool noodles and they'll tie like bait on a hook and throw them out in the lake, and then they'll go back and pick them up later and see if there's any fish. But yeah, people do call it noodling. But he does that. I've seen horror stories where people have been bitten by venomous snakes underwater, and
yeah, man,
where snapping turtles have taken fingers and stuff. Like, I'm good with a line and a reel. You know what I mean?
I've never done that, but I was wading out in the river one time and just kind of dragging my feet trying to get back to shore. And a big-ass flathead catfish took my foot in its mouth. I mean, right up to the heel. I fell over backwards. It gets to thrashing and swims on down the river.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, man, I mean, like I said, I've never done that, but that was an instance I'll never forget.
Jeez, I bet. I've never had a catfish swallow my foot, but I got nipped by a garfish one time.
Oh, God, gar actually have teeth, man.
Yeah,
at least
do.
A catfish, I mean, they got strong-ass jaws, but they ain't got no teeth.
They just have that sandpaper kind of little rough teeth at the bottom.
Skin you up, but gars, no, man.
Luckily, it won't bad. It won't bad, but and it had to be a gar. I didn't fit. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw swimming away, but it wasn't horrible. But it just nipped the back of my leg, and there were these little punctures. It wasn't a snake, I know that, but yeah, man, I've never had a catfish swallow my foot.
We just got word from Matt Crowder. He says there's still time. I don't know if there is. Is there?
I mean, if he's at his house, probably not.
He's 5 minutes away. I don't know. He could call in, but then again, we're rolling, we're going, we're doing it.
Yeah,
we're doing it Reno style, baby.
Wednesday.
We'll catch him next time. He's beautiful. But
I would love to get him in here to record his Supernatural podcast. Maybe we could get him in here to do that.
Yeah, man. It can be hard getting guests in, man, but we're gonna do it.
Well, because most of the time we podcast so early in the morning.
That's true, and some people are just so shy, man. They're open to talking about stuff like out at the bar or whatever. But man, you talk about actually putting it out there, because we're brave souls, man. We'll lay it all on the line, and we'll do it in style. But like I said, man, let's do this and enjoy it while we can, because before too long, one of two things is going to happen. Probably both. I'll get a black bag thrown over my head and get thrown into a government van, and you'll never see me again. Then Jack Dorsey is going to come knocking at your door, and he's going to say, hey, Justin, I'm going to start giving you a $500K a year to push my agenda, and what are you going to do then? You'll have no choice.
Like Steve Miller said, go on, take the money and run.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with, I guess.
Well, no, I wasn't going to say
and
that.
And then he'll bring
I'm saying I'm going to take the money and I'm getting the hell out of town.
He'll bring in like a more PC and a cool, collected guy.
Well, what if they bring you back in, but they got you like doped up and controlled? You know what I mean?
Oh man, they probably have me just straight up lobotomized. Like
you'd be just like a zombie.
But nah, man, they would bring in a stooge. They bring in a stooge. But I mean, and at this point, man, they could probably take enough audio clips of me and just make it seem you're just communicating with a PC, virtual, digitized me, like an AI. And man, they're pretty soon there's going to be I'm talking like the next 5 to 10 years, technology to where you can take enough video clips and make a simulation where you can't tell if it's the simulation or an actual video that's taken in real life.
That's already happening. It's called deep.
Have you heard of this?
Deep editing. Or deep,
yeah. I mean,
they're already doing it. Haven't you seen the Jon Snow apologizing for season 8 of Game of Thrones? Like it is legit. Like it looks just like him, and it's his voice. All of that stuff. So, I mean, no, they're already there. I mean, somebody could take a video of you right now and make you say something you didn't say.
Before long, like the experts won't even be able to tell the real from the fake. It's, I don't know, man.
I'm looking. We have a question from Brianne for tomorrow's mail call, and I don't quite understand it.
Shoot it to you?
Well, she put it on yesterday's Trending Tuesday video, but I don't know what... Oh, you know what? I think I do know what she's asking. Okay. But we'll get to that tomorrow. But yeah, no, I'll tell you a channel I've really been getting into, man. I guess being that we do voice work, you just have an appreciation for good voice work. But there's a channel, and I'm sure many of our listeners have heard of it because the guy's got a ton of subscribers, but it's called Lazy Masquerade.
Oh.
He's he does pretty much, I mean, a lot of stuff he does. I mean, he will do some conspiracy theories, I guess, but he does like everything. Basically, like he reads stories off of like Reddit and like, witness accounts or whatever. And like one he did last night that was chilling was the top 5 or 3 most disturbing. Well, 2 I watched was radio broadcasts, and the other one was phone calls. Mm-hmm. One of them was horrible. Like, I really wish I wouldn't have heard it. It was basically this woman that they used as an example for 911 calls. But like she calls 911 and she tells them that there's somebody, and they say it's 100% authentic. Like it's not a staged or acted call, and it's horrible because you hear her telling the 911 operator, because the mistake the 911 operator made, apparently, according to these people, was that she didn't ask for her location first. Like that should be the first thing you do is figure out where they are so you can dispatch while you have them on the line. They didn't do that. This person just, so the woman's like, there's a man, he's been... outside my property and yada, yada, yada. And you hear the man break into her house and you hear her screams as she is bludgeoned and strangled to death. It is horrible. Luckily, he cut it. You still hear her screams, but he cut, because I hear the actual videos even longer and you can hear her like screaming for help. And I don't want to hear it. It's horrible.
Wow.
But I really wish I wouldn't have heard that. But I like his channel a lot. I mean, that's not all he does. He does like scary, like, 5 terrifying camping experiences, people put online and stuff like that. But Lazy Masquerade, man, check him out. He's got some really good stuff. Got a very soothing voice, too. His delivery and his voice is perfect for what he does. But yeah, I really like that channel. You should go check it out and then just comment and say the podcasting dad sent me here. Just see if we can get a hello from him. Well, it just makes you feel good that people are there helping you represent like one big family.
We are sometimes.
It'd be a weird family, though, because JP would probably bone half of you, so it's like...
If given the chance, I wouldn't do it against your will, but...
Right, well, if he's allowed to. Well, if it's consensual, we'll say. So, I mean, one of those weird families, but family nonetheless.
Yeah, we have some beautiful listeners, some very beautiful listeners. Man, I told, oh man, I had such a strange dream last night. I was back at the grocery store I used to manage, and every young lady that I was ever familiar with was just right there.
By familiar, he means that you mean friendly. That you've been fresh with, right?
Friendly.
Right.
They were all right there on the registers, all lined up at the front of the store. It was just like the Baton Death March.
I think you feel guilt.
No, it was some...
And it's odd that we mentioned that yesterday, too. Like, that was something we talked about in the podcast yesterday.
Did we?
Yeah. Wasn't it yesterday?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we did. I think it was yesterday. We talked about, kind of briefly touched on you shacking up with people at work.
There's some good memories and there's some not so good memories.
Well,
and that's
apparently you feel a little bit of guilt about it.
No, I don't feel any
Especially
guilt.
if they was like they were up front just waiting on you angrily.
No, I wouldn't say they were waiting on me angrily. It's almost like I was a ghost, almost like I was a ghost seeing the world as it were, per se, and revisiting
Maybe you miss those times. Maybe you miss those girls. Maybe you want to be in a relationship with them all simultaneously. Maybe you should talk to them about starting like some kind of polyamorous community.
No, there's an idea. I don't know, man. There was something simpler about that time. I mean, just, being the night manager, coming home.
Well, it's always
drinking.
that way when you're single. When you're single and you have nobody else,
didn't have to get up early.
You have your own thing. You can go do as you want. I mean, and I'm not saying that it's better, but I'm saying I get what you're saying when you're single and it's just simpler. But there's perks to the other as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, you getting hot here talking about this?
I am getting hot. I'm getting the vapors. I don't know what's going on.
JP's taking his shirt off and he's just whipping it around.
I don't know what's happening anymore at all. I really don't.
Are you having a mental breakdown?
Oh, honey, I've been there. I ain't never left.
What do we talk about with you calling me honey?
Huh? No, yeah. I don't know what's up. I don't know what the flavor is. I don't know what the flavor of the month is. I don't know.
You call me honey all you want, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, I wish people could see you.
Yeah, hopefully soon, we'll have a visual component.
Well, with the Patreon, doing pretty well, hopefully we will have some visual component. Like I said, we want to turn these into video podcasts. We want to have each one will be a video podcast of JP and I. 2 screens simultaneously together.
Together.
Together. Forever.
Oh, no.
Forever, JP.
But yeah, man, it's weird what's going on in the world, man. I wish I had more stuff to say. I've been in a weird place the last week or so.
Well, that's what we need to talk about then.
Weird place.
Tell me about it. What's weird about it? Where are you right now?
Oh, God.
Could you quit making sexual sounds into the microphone and just talk?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, tell us about this weird place you are. Where is it? What is it? How did you get there?
I wish I knew.
Tell me more about it. So why are you in a weird place? I'm waiting on you to talk. You can't bring that up and then just drop it.
Nah, we got better stuff to talk about, man. The world's on fire.
No. I want to know about this weird place that mine's wonderful right now. I have a beautiful 1.5-month-old baby.
That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored. The world's on fire. How about yours?
Oh, you're singing Smash Mouth?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess if JP's not going to delve into this weird place that he's at that I'm very curious to hear about, I guess it's about time to wrap it up.
I mean, we ain't got to wrap it up. We must have something more interesting to speak of. I mean,
no, I want to know what you're into right now. Why you're in a weird place. We're here to talk you through it, man.
It's just a feeling in my gut, a feeling of impending doom. And I know it's kind of like Robert Baratheon said, there's a war coming. I don't know when. I don't know who will be fighting, but it's coming, Ned. And this is what I'm telling you right now.
So that's the way you feel. You just feel this overwhelming sense of anxiety is what you're saying. It's like an impending feeling of doom. Do you think it's on a national, like global scale, or you're just talking about in your own personal life?
No, of course it's on a global. I mean, there's very little standing between us and the abyss, but on a personal level as well, probably. You know, I've been on the brink for ever since you met me, before you met me even, nonetheless.
Been on the brink of what?
On the brink of oblivion.
That's right. Sip your water and tell us more about it.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Are you just discontent with life right now? Do you
I
think
ain't
maybe
never
that's
been
what it
content with nothing. I ain't never been content with nothing. You know, shit rolls downhill and that's the end of it. But not because of gravity, because of density and incline.
Well, because of gravity pulling on it, too. That helps.
I mean, the invisible, it's kind of like the Force from a Star Wars, you know. Only we don't have the cables to make this stuff happen. Yeah.
So you're still on your... Have you watched the Flat Earth documentary on Netflix yet?
I haven't. Has the one on Amazon come out? I know they were doing.
Well, maybe it was Amazon. I don't know. I want to watch it. I hadn't watched it yet. I just was wondering if you had given it a watch yet.
Nah, man. I honestly haven't delved back into the Flat Earth much in recent months. Just before I was working at the grocery store, so I had to constantly have podcasts plugged in my head, and I just haven't been going to that place as much.
Oh man, you've not been listening to Mr. Rogan any?
No, I have been listening to Joe Rogan. You know, he, of course, even though he knows it to be true, he dismisses Flat Earth because the CIA and different factions threatened his family.
You think that Joe Rogan is not being truthful?
Well, you know, I
thought that's why you liked him, because he was just raw and total.
But there are early podcasts where he straight up says, you know, NASA, please come and show me the aliens. I'll say whatever you want after that. But no, I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry that whoever you want to say, the CIA or whatever, has threatened him and his family like they have a lot of people. So, I mean, he could be the next David Carradine to end up, hanging from a noose with his dick in his hand.
Oh, don't say that.
I don't want to see that.
Was that the guy who was the guy found bound and gagged in a bathtub?
I don't know.
It was some famous actor back in. He was a famous actor way back in the day, but like he was found in a very unflattering way. I think they said it was dismissed as like autoerotic whatever, autoerotica fix, whatever. But it was very bizarre. He was like naked, and I don't know who that was.
Like I said, man, I'm still. If my friend Alex would come in here, I'm trying to get more info on the journalist. I think it was in Europe that air quotes committed suicide. Right after doing a Periscope, kind of a Clinton-esque kind of suiciding. Digging into
I got a book
circle.
I need to bring you for you to read. I think you would really like it. It's called JFK and the UFOs. Mm-hmm. It's a conspiracy theory book. That's all I'll tell you, because it's a winding little path, and it's not as cut and dry as you would think, but it's a really good book. It's what it's all about, conspiracy and government cover-up and things like that. It's so if you ever want to read that, man, I'm happy to bring it to you. I think you would very much enjoy it, especially with as much fascination as you find with conspiracies. Like I said, I might dismiss some conspiracies, but I still love, and there are some that I do think have some credence, but I have a ton of conspiracy books, man. If you ever want some to sink your teeth into, some really good stuff.
Well, at least one thing to your credit is you'll at least let me, not that you let me. I mean, this is our show, of course. I mean,
this is my show.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I can get on here and talk about these things that you think are ludicrous. But, we still have a conversation. I
don't tell you you're stupid or insane for thinking it. I mean, I might not buy it, but it doesn't mean that I, think that there's anything wrong with you.
But, just there's so many platforms where you're shunned, you're shut up, you're dismissed, in transmission right then and there. So.
Nah, man, I think people have something to say, let them say it,
Yeah, and I mean that's what they're, that's the way YouTube and so many of these platforms are going. That's why we do need a diversification of internet media and platforms. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's getting to where just like the.
Well, you don't finish statements today.
Yeah,
what's going on, man?
I ran out of steam. I don't
What's
know.
going on? Like that's several statements you've started and then have just ended with.
I just feel like rolling down a hill. Did you ever do that when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Like we'd get in a barrel and be rolling down
I got a little blue
hills.
barrel.
Yeah, we did it in a big old blue barrel.
You did that too? That's awesome.
Golly,
yeah.
It was frightening.
We were stupid.
It was so scary.
The thought of it now, just thinking about it, makes me feel nauseous.
Yeah. You wonder how your brain didn't get scrambled.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we did a lot of dumb stuff when I was younger, and sometimes I wasn't younger. Sometimes by younger, I mean in my very early 20s, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, that jackass phase.
Yeah, one guy that I knew, man, he's a brilliant guy. He's very intelligent, and he's just an awesome dude, very creative, but like he did not mind doing what he wanted to be the next Johnny Knoxville. And I remember for one of his videos that he did, like doing jackass stuff, he put his wee-wee in a mousetrap.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it didn't look like it felt like
flaccid.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really. If I had to guess, I think it was like flaccid. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would imagine. I don't imagine he would have been able to hold a hard on. I don't know. I've never ventured into those waters. So.
I'm trying to think like what would make it better for you as far as not getting hurt, having it hard or soft.
Probably hard, right? It would be a little bit more resistance. I don't know though. Yeah. Maybe not. You might pop a blood vessel. So I don't know, man. I never have had a desire to stick my wee wee into anything like that.
Yeah, man. It's weird, man. My younger somebody I know came over the other day, and sometimes he's got this or that. I'm just like, man, that's cool. Just do your thing.
Got this or that.
They talk about like drugs and stuff.
Oh,
which I don't really delve into harder stuff, but he slips me something, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And it was like half of Viagra. And I was just like, man, are you going straight into like dealing to like nursing homes and stuff? I don't, I'm good. But
wow.
Yeah. I don't know if it was some kind of proposition, like take this and we can really.
I think the looming question we all want to know is, did you take it?
No, I didn't. It's in my medicine cabinet. It's one of those things like, I feel like I don't know, but no, I don't, dude. I don't want a hard on that just won't go away for like 8 hours.
Well, if it's more than 4, you need to go seek medical attention.
That's what I'm saying, man. So. I mean, I'm still pretty healthy in that regard. I mean, the testicular varicose sometimes can impede, but
does it make it painful?
Well, it's just a blood restriction. So sometimes it can play. Sometimes you might get 75% as opposed to 100%. It just all depends.
Interesting.
But
well, I think that is going to wrap it up for today's Random Rambling Wednesday. Anything you want to leave them with before we wrap this thing up?
Just, enjoy the free internet while it's here. Now, I'm not talking about paying for it. I'm talking about being able to listen to what you want and say what you want, because if the powers that be have their way, it might not be that way for much longer. I mean, the Obama administration were trying to hand over regulation of the internet to some small board conglomerate or whatever in Europe a few years ago.
I do remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, so
I don't know all the details, but
that's it.
Well, I hate to end on a gloomy note, but we do thank you so much for tuning in. JP, let them have that social media info.
All right, 3 platforms: Periscope, Jpslim, easy as that, JPSLIM, Periscope, J_Radsaw, Instagram, which I never use, and I don't remember.
Snapchat?
Yeah, that's it. JAYPEA 5000, JP 5000.
All right.
There you go.
And mine's super easy to find. Just I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, no apostrophes, none of that stuff. Just I'm Justin Lloyd. It'll get you Periscope, Instagram, and Snapchat. So feel free to give a follow. And JP, before we go, let's talk about that Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. If you want to get involved with the podcast, if you want to see video podcasts, which we're trying to save up for, get on Patreon. The tiers start at $1. And it gives you access to exclusive content. I need to put some new content on there, by the way. We're also, once we get to 20 patrons, we're going to draw for a prize pack, all kinds of cool stuff in it. Please patronize us, but if you don't, it's still cool.
Yeah, we still love you, whether you become a patron or not. We just are glad that you keep listening.
And by the way, a link to Patreon will be in the description of this video.
Oh, yeah. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like helps us. We're going to go get JP some professional help, and we will see you tomorrow for Mail Call Thursday.
I don't trust psychiatrists or psychologists. I don't trust them.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, we'll be here for Mail Call. We'll answer your questions.
I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.